I'm Ford Stokes, publisher of agentadvisor.com, and I wanted to share this month's publisher's perspective for March 2023 about what we're seeing out there in the marketplace. So the number one concern that retirees have right now is inflation. No surprise there, but also what can they do about it? One, your prospects and your clients should stay invested. They should stay invested with hopefully tactically managed portfolios, also even some strategically managed portfolios to basically keep pace with inflation. Hopefully they're organized and they're managed by a trading team, but also they're working with a fiduciary, a licensed financial advisor that's going to have to put their best interests ahead of that advisor's best interest. So that's really what we're seeing out there in the marketplace as a trend, is that more and more people are kind of throwing their hands up and trying to do it themselves and they're no longer just trying to save the expenses of the fees they would pay an advisor after losing so much money in 2022 with a downward trajectory in the market, with a downturn in the market last year in 2022. Also with a 60-40 portfolio with 60% stocks and 40% bonds doing more poorly than it's done in the last 40 years. It did as poorly as it's done in the last 40 years. Harry Markowitz came out with the modern portfolio theory. He was given credit for creating the modern portfolio theory in 1952, and now we're in 2023. It's 71 years later. I mean, that's something, right? And so people do need an advisor to navigate all these waters with inflation and what could happen with rising taxes, and all those other different things that people are worried about. I mean, we saw at times in 2022 where Facebook became a value stock. So that's just an interesting talking point. I mean, I think most of the lifetime of Facebook, they've been a growth stock. And obviously Facebook's rebounded a little bit since its lows in 2022, but it's a little bit more difficult to just pick stocks as an individual investor. Also, we're seeing more and more people are really paying attention to the expense ratio within their portfolio. How much are they paying for the mutual funds that were in their 401k that they may have just continued on when they moved it over to a Vanguard account or whatever they decided to do? And now they're seeing, oh, wait a second, I've got money coming out of my portfolio that I need to fill that hole. I need to maybe move from a mutual fund to an exchange traded fund because they're far superior in lower fees. So maybe I need to move to that type of investment. So you ought to help all these different people that are looking for help. You provide value, give them educational value, but really help them get more tax efficient, more market efficient, and more fee efficient. So hopefully that helps you understand kind of the number one concerns that we've seen, that we've researched on agentadvisor.com with all of our different RSS newsfeed partners. Inflation's the number one thing out there. Taxes are another big one. And in this next segment, we're going to talk about health, because a lot of people are concerned about rising healthcare costs and what are they going to do about Medicare. And here's segment 2 of my publisher's perspective for agentadvisor.com. A lot of people are concerned about their financial health and wellness, but also their actual health and wellness. And they do kind of go together. Fidelity in April of 2022, they came out with their financial and retirement survey. And their retirement survey showed that, in fact, the cost of healthcare for a married couple reaching age 65 together over the next 30 years, going to 95 years old, that the two of them together, their healthcare costs were going to be, it went up $25,000 to $325,000 over their 30-year retirement. And that is significant. I mean, 25,000 on 300,000 is almost 10%, not quite 10%, but that is a significant growth in a single year. And more people have questions about Medicare as well. And if you are a financial advisor, you should at least have a Medicare partner. Also, we can help you get in touch with a Medicare partner at agentadvisor.com if that helps you. Also, you might want to consider adding Medicare to your practice. It also will drive more responses. I'm adding Medicare to my practice in 2023, and we're going to include it on my radio show, which is the Active Wealth Show. And I'm based in Atlanta, Georgia. But again, we created agentadvisor.com to help advisors figure out what to do next and how to put more prospects in the top of the funnel so they can also serve more clients. Because you know what? More prospects out there that do not have a financial advisor helping them with all aspects of retirement, whether it's tax implications of their investments or whether it's, just Medicare questions they have, or so when to take Social Security. That's probably, as Tom Hegna says, when to start taking Social Security is one of the most important decisions you can make in retirement. And it's an often overlooked one. It just comes down to sometimes people make a decision to turn on Social Security income because they feel like, it's not going to be around long, or they've got fatigue and they just want to retire early and they want to start taking it at 62 and a half. And they don't really realize that they're getting 75 cents on the dollar. And you can really help them as a financial advisor or annuity only advisor, help them make that decision on when to take Social Security. I use maximizemysocialsecurity.com as a great tool. It's something to consider. I think it's about $250 a year. And what you do is you put in your top 35 earning years for folks, and it'll give them what if scenarios. And it's a really nice 16-page report that's a color report. And I think your prospects and clients will appreciate that. So that's another quick hint there. So I'd check out maximizemysocialsecurity.com as a resource for you. But the financial health and wellness are important, and you really should be prepared to help folks make the right decisions on whether they want to do Medicare Advantage or they want to do a Medigap supplement plan. Hopefully, they're obviously working with a certified and licensed Medicare agent, and somebody who's life and health license that's gotten Medicare certified. And so make sure you're just not ignoring the wellness, the health and wellness part of it. Also, try to help folks, live healthy lifestyles. You give health and wellness articles, share those out with your prospects and clients. Those are all great value pieces that will drive business back to you. I hope that helps in segment 2. It's just my publisher's perspective. 1, make sure you check out maximizemysocialsecurity.com. Again, maximizemysocialsecurity.com as a resource to develop what if scenarios and a Social Security maximization report. And then 2, make sure you're doing all you can to really stay focused on the health and wellness for your clients and help them along the journey when they're selecting Medicare. Also, you've got a lot of folks who are retiring at age 61, 62 years old before Medicare, and they've got to get to that Medicare eligible age of 65 years old. Make sure they've got good education on that, and they understand how much it's going to cost them in health insurance when they're self-insuring or they're going to get health insurance outside of, since they're no longer going to be employed. Make sure you're going to help them with that plan as well, because that could be a big financial impact to their overall retirement. One last piece from this publisher, I would tell you that Medicare's got a 2-year look back. So you want to do everything you can to help people understand, hey, if you're going to do Roth conversions, you might want to do it before you get to age 63 or after, but it's still going to impact them later if they do it after. Just to try to minimize your income at your 63rd and 64th year, because that's what they're going to use to establish the Medicare surcharge. Hope this is a great publisher's perspective segment. So it gave you a couple of different things to look at and help out your prospects and clients. And stay tuned for segment 3. And welcome back to the publisher's perspective for agentadvisor.com. I'm Ford Stokes, the publisher of agentadvisor.com. And I wanted to share our top 3 articles for February on agentadvisor.com. There are articles you probably want to check out. So the number 3 article for this month was Adapting to Annuities, the best MIGA replacement. It was written by Eric Bruno of DFS Marketing. And Eric gave us the scoop on how changing market conditions are pointing financial advisors toward a tried and true product. You've got, bank CDs that are paying a little bit over 4%. But did you know you've got MIGAs, 5-year MIGAs are paying 5.2 to 5.5%. So they're, paying much higher rates than what you can get from a bank CD. And that's with like an internet bank like Ally Bank. If you go to the bricks and mortar, those rates are much, much lower. And so I would encourage everybody to check out Eric's article, Adapting to Annuities, the Best MIGA Replacement. And I think you're going to really like that article, and it'll help you build out your practice and also write more multi-year guaranteed annuities. That's what a MIGA stands for. NYGA, multi-year guaranteed annuities. I really think you ought to consider adding MIGAs to your practice. Also, we talk about it in our Beating the Bank CDs. The Beating Bank CDs, I guess, is the name of the segment on the Active Wealth Show. And we discuss MIGAs specifically as a great bank CD alternative. Hope that helps give you some perspective there, and also check out Eric's article. The second most popular article on Agent Advisor for the month was When Your Client Wants to Plan, You Don't Want to Sell by Sylvia Gordon, where Sylvia outlines her secrets to guiding clients to solutions that are better than the quote and unquote best. And so she really takes a Medicare agent perspective here. She's trying to really help Medicare agents get a better perspective on how to provide value and to seek to understand versus seeking to be understood. I just applaud Sylvia for this article. It's a very popular article on agentadvisor.com, and I would encourage you to check it out. Again, the name of her article is When Your Client Wants a Plan, You Don't Want to Sell. And that's by Sylvia Gordon. You want to check out that article. And the number one most popular article this month in February on agentadvisor.com was What You Need to Know About Getting into Medicare Sales by Bob Brzezinski of Pinnacle Financial Solutions, where Bob highlighted the 101 and more about building a successful Medicare sales practice, or frankly, any advisory practice. And I would just encourage you happy reading on that. Again, our number one article was Bob's What You Need to Know About Getting into Medicare Sales. And he really highlighted the one-on-one. He really highlighted the 101 and more about how to build that Medicare practice. And even there's some good hints in there about how to build your own financial practice. And I just wanted to congratulate Bob on having the number one read article on agentadvisor.com this month. And I hope this gives you guys at least 3 great articles to check out. And be sure to tune in every single month on our social media channels where I outline the top 3 articles. These are not my subjective perspective. These are metrics. These are actually the most read articles on agentadvisor.com. So check those out. And I'll be back with some final thoughts in segment 4 of the Publisher's Perspective for agentadvisor.com. Welcome back to the Publisher's Perspective for agentadvisor.com. And I've got a few final thoughts here. This is segment 4 of our Publisher's Perspective. And my final thoughts are really be a student of the game. Dive into agentadvisor.com. Look for ways and articles to help you grow your practice, whether you've got a Medicare practice or whether you've got a financial practice. Really dive into the best ways to market, the best ways to sell, the best ways to provide value. But my number one thought here is try to become an educator versus a salesman or a salesperson. The more value you can create, the more people are going to come back to you. It's been said, people don't really care what you have to say until they know that you care. And if you are going to give people real value, then they're going to know you're going to care. You're also going to be able to get more people to know, like, and trust you, and therefore you'll attract more people to your practice, whether it's a Medicare practice or a financial practice. And then the last thought I've got is a very specific one. Whether you're a Medicare agent or whether you are a financial advisor, annuity-only advisor, or a life licensed advisor, where you're selling a lot of life insurance and index universal life policies, what I would encourage you to do is to get out there, is to do a much better job at building your digital footprint. Consider a podcast. Consider a radio show as soon as you can afford it. All it takes is a 1080p Logitech webcam. I think it's like $90, a microphone, maybe a custom mic flag that we could help you get. And all you got to do is read. You can send me an email at ford@activewealth.com. I can point you in the right direction. But you can build up important third-party credibility by getting on by improving your digital footprint, by getting on the radio, by building out your own podcast. You really need to start making sure that people hear your voice and that you can help more folks retire successfully, whether that's on the health and wellness side or whether that's on the financial wealth side. People need to hear from you. The average age of a financial advisor in the United States is 58 years old. We are an aging population as a profession. We've got to do everything we can to help out more and more prospects, more and more pre-retirees and retirees, just for our own nation, just to help out our citizens. So make sure you get your take and your voice out there, but specifically share all the things of value that you share with the clients every day. That's really the secret to educating, is making sure that you're just sharing the stuff that you share every single day, that your clients find of value when you're sitting in front of clients, whether it's on a Zoom or face-to-face. I would encourage you to get your voice out there. And this has been the Publisher's Perspective for agentadvisor.com for the month of March. And we encourage everyone to get out there and improve their digital footprint, build a podcast, or even possibly get on the radio. Provide more educational value out there to more prospects, and you will end up serving more clients. Have a great month of March, everybody.